The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's foreign and foreign.
Good evening and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. Man, I'm really excited, man. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer, cause I certainly am enjoying my summer. It's been truly amazing, in spite of being hot. Right? I think that's what we all expected summer, that it was going to be hot. I don't know if we expected it that it was going to be this hot. It's extremely hot. But check this out. I was reflecting. Yeah, I'm going to do a lot of reflecting today because we're going to talk a little bit about family reunions. And when I was a young guy, my mom used to take me and my siblings, my two brothers and my sisters, and we used to go to Plymouth, North Carolina. And one of the things that I was so excited, particularly during the summertime, I was really excited about getting there because my grandmother was there. My grandfather was there, and I was looking forward to seeing them, and they're part of family. And the other part of it is that I was sharing the other day when I was in Plymouth, North Carolina. I was sharing, not remembering. I knew it was hot. But because I was with family, because I was with my grandmother and grandfather, and because I was with my cousins, my cousin Jeff and Pete, we call Willie Jr., and we were all there. I mean, it didn't make any difference or how hot it was. Yes. We just enjoyed being with each other, and we hadn't seen each other because we would go down twice a year. Christmas time, and we would go down for 4th of July, and me and my siblings wouldn't go back until it was time for school in Mount Vernon, New York. So, but it was a great time, man. And I got to give you just a quick story. We were at the family reunion on Friday. There was a cookout. And everything was going well. I mean, here's the crazy part. We stayed about maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes away from Plymouth, in Greenville, North Carolina. Stayed at the hotel, and we were driving in. Here's so crazy. This is crazy stuff in the South, right? So we're driving, man, and it's blazing outside, and I'm just driving along, and all of a sudden my wife and my mom says, "Hey, what's that right there?" I look up, and it's a sheet of rain. I mean, we literally for about 3, 4, 5 minutes is driving through a sheet of rain. Like what it was like? It was like I went to the car wash. Like I just entered the car wash and brushes were coming down. I mean, that's how hard it was raining. I literally had to slow down a little bit. And here's the crazy part. Came out the other end of it. Man, everything was dry. I could not believe it. It was just the ground was dry. I don't know. It just rained in that area, right? That's weird stuff in the South. And and I heard here's the other thing had just been talking about with some family when we used to meet up. One of the ways how it wasn't transportation. We were traveling, but it was no transportation. I mean, it wasn't like we were riding a bike or a moped or we were driving in a car. No, we were walking, right? And we would always use the train tracks. You know, the train tracks would lead us to all our cousins' houses, and we pick each other up and we start walking on the train tracks. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I don't know if you guys, some people said, "What's a biting fly?" Well, I was like, man, they big flies. They don't look like regular flies, but they flies and they bite, right? So we just walking along, like just talking and stuff like that. Out of nowhere, these biting flies would come, man. The next thing you know, we running down the train track, slapping at them things, man. We would spend like, I don't even know why we didn't trip. We must have been good at hitting them little wood sections, and we were just running as fast as we can and swatting at them things, man. And we were at the cookout. On Friday, and the cookout's over. We get in the car, and my wife is swinging at something, right? And my wife is swinging at something, and there is a giant biting fly, right? I'm like, oh my God, we got to kill it. I don't even know where that thing went. I just freaked out, man, because first of all, I was bitten by a biting fly, not many times, because I was swatting. I slapped my own self with them flies, them biting flies, man. But I don't even know where the thing went. I don't even know if I killed it. It fell somewhere. And I started thinking like, man, it's in the car. And I stopped thinking I was going to get out the car, but then my grandkids were in the car, so I had to stay in there to try to protect them, But anyway, I want to say welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast, man. Welcome back, man. We took a break this is like the first time in 5 years we didn't do anything on the holiday, 4th of July, that weekend. Usually we're taping at the reunions or the cookouts. We were taping. I just like, okay, we did something the week before, and we didn't do anything. But welcome back, man. I love you guys, man. I'm excited to be back, and I'm excited to talk about, because summer for me is always about family and the power of family. So it's just awesome. Let me just say thank you for your support of the Blueprint Podcast each and every week. If you don't mind, you've seen at the end of the intro, it says like and subscribe. Remember, Lowe's More the Blueprint on Facebook, Lowe's More the Blueprint on YouTube. And if you could like and subscribe. I mean, after we get out this summer, man, we're about to do some big stuff. We're going to try to do some big stuff coming into the fall. But right now we're in the summer, and we're going to have a good time. And we're going to talk about the importance of family and the importance of having family reunions.
It's a family reunion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Hey, I wish I could play the song Family Reunion by the OJs. Sometimes not on YouTube, but on Facebook. Sometimes if you play, you don't have the rights or the permission to be able to play a song, they will just shut you down. I don't want to be shut down. So look, everybody remembers Family Reunion from the OJs, and so I'm excited about today and to talk about family, man. I hope you guys are really enjoying your family this summer, because I surely am. And so let me jump right into it, man. I'm gonna start with my my book of the week, man. Let me start with that. And when I think about family, and one of the most important books that we should all have, and I mean, of course, is the Bible. I mean, when you talk about family, you talk about books that families should read and books that families should look at together, right? It got to be the Bible. The number one book ever written, ever, is the Bible, and this is the African American family heirloom Bible, right? I mean, you got that. Everybody should have a Bible in their house. I mean, I'm just saying.
I think that was something that we got. We got there's a nice wedding gift.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if we're going to somebody's wedding, depending on culture, though, we don't want to offend anybody's culture, but you know, if we find out that they're a Christian or something like that, or they believe in God, one of the things that I think everybody should have in their house, if somebody's getting married, got to have a family Bible, right? And it works both ways because it says heirloom. You're supposed to write, because there's a family tree inside the Bible, right? You're supposed to write down all the names and then different things like that go in the Bible, as well as you should not just write the names in there. You also should read the Bible, right?
It also had like weddings and all kinds.
Oh yeah, everything is in the Bible, man. I'm because there may be some people that will hear this and go break in somebody's house. You know what I'm saying? Because black folks put all their documents in their Bible. I mean, like it's a safe. I'm like,
that's
like,
a good point.
Like they can dial it or wind it or got a key to lock it. Anything important is in the Bible. Well, today you got to find that Bible because you don't know where the Bible's at. But they used to be right on the table.
My Aunt Sweet got one upstairs in her attic.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be up there forever.
Yeah, ain't nobody going to get that.
Nobody going to get that.
But yeah, but the Bible, the number one book ever written. There's been no books that have been sold, right, talked about. Then the Bible is the number one book. It will be the number one book in the history of our lives forever. So yeah, make sure you got a Bible in your house, man. And you know what was, you knew that there were people of faith and people that believed in the Bible. It used to be that every hotel you went in, every hotel, every motel had a Bible in it. I mean, first thing you go in and open up the drawer, what would you see? A Bible.
That was about the Gideons. That the Gideons used to put the Bibles in the hotels.
Well.
And the Gideons, believe it or not, they were at where is it? Where I work.
Mm-hmm.
They were right next door to us.
The Gideon, the company.
The company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they were in Carmel, and they used to come up and they would give us Bibles and stuff like that.
Oh, the Gideon Bible. And then also, what was the name? The Guidepost. Remember Guidepost?
That's what it was, Guidepost.
Guidepost.
That was right next door.
Yeah, right next door. Guidepost, Gideon Bibles, man. There used to be a Bible everywhere. Everywhere. So, and then next is the words of the week.
Oh, we got two?
2 words. Yeah, the words of the week.
Well, let's see what we got over here. Words of the week.
Hey, you should be able to guess it by now. Everybody say, family reunion. Right? The importance and power of family. And the importance and power of families getting together, right? Two very important and powerful words: family and reunions. And it was interesting.
What's that?
Right? It was interesting at the family reunion. I was talking to some of my family members, right? And I was talking to them, and we're talking about Plymouth, North Carolina. That's where the family reunion was at, right? And I was talking to them, and they were like, "Oh, we were walking around, visiting with people, and shaking hands. Hey man, I ain't seen you in a long time." And I was thinking like me and my cousin Clayton, we was walking around. And he was like, "Hey, I ain't seen you in a long time. Hey, I ain't seen you in a long time."
You sound like his voice.
"Hey, I ain't seen you in a long time." And I looked at Clayton. I said, "Well, don't they live in Plymouth?"
Come on now.
They live in Plymouth. You haven't seen them. I mean, come on. Check out your family if they local and living with you. They living in the same area. You should check. They should know. You should know them, man.
Yes,
you look a little blurry, man.
I'm blurry.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't feel like I'm blurry, but okay. If I'm blurry.
Okay, that's our words of the week. Family reunion, right? And then our affirmation, our Pierce Harper affirmation moment, right? Yeah, it says, my children are growing up knowing the love of family.
Yes.
That's an affirmation. That's a quote, right? Your children should grow up knowing the love of family. And let me say this. There are so many people in the world who don't know what family is.
Understood.
Yeah, all over the world, in the United States of America, there is so many people that don't know what it is to experience family. They don't know what it is to have a mother or father or a mother, and they don't really know what it is to get together in a family reunion. And it's sad. It's sad that people come in the world and they don't value the importance and power of family.
Absolutely.
So one of the things we need to continually do is to pray for family. One of my friends, he's a former professional boxer, right? Former professional boxer, and he was a foster kid. And I had him on the podcast, right? And it wasn't, I think he was well into his late 30s or 40s before he actually found his family. Mm. And the one thing I love about him, right? The one thing I love about him is because once he started finding his family,
yep,
right, he started to help other people find their family. I think that's just a powerful thing, man, to find family and to get together with family. I'm not saying that here's the craziest part of his story. Mm-hmm. He found his father before he passed away. He found, like, his dad had a lot of kids. I mean, he ended up finding a lot of his brothers and sisters. They lived in Atlanta, Georgia. And the reality of it is that he just wanted to find his mother, right? And eventually, after years of research, he actually found his mother.
Wow.
Right? And he went there, knocked on the door, right? And found his mother. She opened up the door. She had another family. She opened up the door. She was a little bit older. And you know what happened?
What?
She didn't acknowledge him.
Wow.
And after all these years, he found his mother, knocked on the door, and she said, "I don't have no son." Right? And he said, whether you think you have a son or not, I am your son. And I'm good now that I've seen you. And he walked away that day, man. That's, so family is important. Please value family. Right? And so let's move on to the
music and movie.
Music and movie.
Yes.
Yeah, the OJs.
OJs.
Family reunion. Right? Is the music, the song of the week, and then
listen. They can't get rid of us if we just sing it, right? It's a family reunion.
Oh man, yeah. I was about to play it on my phone, man. It's just such a powerful song when we get together.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It said my grandparents my grandparents are gonna be this, where they saw everybody. Like,
Yeah.
you imagine how proud your grandfather and your grandmother would be right now if they saw all of their great grandchildren and grandchildren and great great grandchildren.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if mother's got a chance to see Lainey and Hartley, who I think Hartley looks like mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would be blown away.
And then the movie of the week is
Ooh, the movie.
Soul Food.
Soul Food. Oh, hold on, let me jump down. I went to the wrong thing.
Soul Food.
Soul Food.
Everybody remember Soul Food. Then it came on, I think it came on the cable stations as well.
As a series,
As a series, yeah. Yeah, and you like it because it was going through all the ups and downs, all the positives and negatives that happen in black families. Right? But we always remember in Soul Food, they always remember getting together, family time,
Sunday dinners.
Sunday dinner, and that's for us. It would be, we had Sunday dinners too, but getting together is like that family reunion is when we all get together. Because look, I'll tell you, I love all y'all, but don't have no family reunion. You ain't got no food there. You gotta have some food.
Real family reunions. So let me tell you, this was so cool because I remember when I first started dating you and I went to your house, right? And I think it was a Sunday. I don't know what day of the week it was. But we got there and your mom was making like waffles and cheese and eggs and fried chicken, right? And she made her own syrup, right? I was like, yo, this is the family I got to join, man. I went home to my mom. I was like, yo, she makes her own syrup and it's hot when it goes on. Oh my God. I was like, what is happening right now? Like, I had felt like I had just slipped right into a little different part of heaven that I had never seen before.
Oh, man.
Oh, and then she made tea, iced tea. I was like, this is it. I'm going to marry his mama.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. It was great.
Good times, yeah. And then, finally,
Persons of the week.
Persons of the Week.
Oh, ooh.
Man, I don't even remember. It's a shame.
That's a shame.
It's a shame.
What's a shame?
My wife know all them right there, and I don't. I remember faces, but...
Well, that's Uncle Nelson on the left.
I see, yeah,
Right?
Uncle Nelson.
I said Aunt Libby, right, is all the way on the right with the mask.
She has the mask on, and she was 95.
Yeah.
95.
One of them is Aunt Sadie. I'm not sure who the other two are, so that can't tell you that I got them all right.
Yeah.
And I know Uncle Freddie was on the right.
Yeah, Uncle Freddie. Yeah,
And he was not in that picture.
He wasn't in that picture. Yeah.
So I know Aunt Dolores is watching and Ma's watching, and maybe if I show it again, they would remember who those individuals were. So the lady next to Uncle Nelson, not sure, and the one next to Aunt Libby, I'm not sure. So, but I think Aunt Sadie is the gray-haired one. I'm not sure. So yeah.
Yeah, but they are
They are the second generation to your great grandparent, great grandfather's grandchildren.
Oh, okay. Great grandfather's grandchildren. Yeah.
She said Lou, well, Nanette said Lou is one of them, and yeah, so she's got, if anybody knows, she's gonna know too. So, but we thank God for the, what I call them, my cousin Pastor Darrell, he used to call them seasoned citizens. We call us super seniors. Super seniors are seasoned citizens. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm gonna play this quick video that was done in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
And it talks about the importance of family, and because it's important to us in regards to being particularly African American people, because a lot of times people don't know your history, right? And
Well, I don't think it matters what whether you're black, white, or anything. I mean, family reunions, I think, are important all the way around.
No, I think everybody should have family reunion regardless of culture. Mm-hmm. But in terms, one of the important things for everybody, regardless of color, right? If you want to remember history, right? See, if you don't know
where you been,
if you don't know where you've been, you have no idea where you are, and you definitely have no idea where you're going, right? So it's important to know where you've been. What's my past? What's my history? And that's important. That's why family reunions are important. But check this out, and this is in Alexandria, Virginia. Check out this little video as they talk about why it's important to have family reunions. And hold on, before you put it on, I think it's something that we might think of. Let me explain this before we go to this video.
Okay.
I guess in 2018, right, Uncle Freddie, who we just mentioned, right, he came up with a board, you know, one of them boards you get from Staples, and
trifold.
A trifold, and he had written all the names. You know,
Nancy was one of those. There was Aunt Nancy. That was
Aunt Nancy.
Yeah.
And he had written all the names, and he had did his little drawing of the family and how it breaks out. Now that's in 2018. Now my wife is married into the family, right? But they treat her like she was born in the family. Right? So she was on the committee. You know, she started getting on the committee, started talking about family. Oh, this is interesting and stuff like that. So in 2018, she started building our family, you know, and asking people to hand in names and who's connected to who and so forth and so on, like Ancestry.com, right? She became Ancestry.com to the family. That whole team became Ancestry.com, right? And we all got involved. Whoever she asked and that volunteered to get involved, everybody got involved, right? And we're going to show you parts of this tonight, but my wife did a tremendous job. Now, I don't want to add anything to the team's plate, right? I don't want to add anything to the team's plate, but after I seen this video, I was like, we got names, right? But we need pictures, right? So now if you could add pictures to names, woo, you know, like building your own library.
You know, it's crazy that you say that. My boss told me the other day that the Mormons actually have a library of everybody that's ever been born in the Mormon faith. They have a certain place and they take a picture and they have a library that created their own family tree. Could you imagine if we just created a family tree, we had a picture and that would be crazy trying to hold all of that together. But yeah, as my son would say, get somebody else to do it.
Right? And so play that video, you know, on the importance of family.
Alexandria's African American community. That's the goal of the Black Family Reunion that's happening this weekend at the Barrett Branch Library in Old Town. Randy Ayala joins us now with more on the library's efforts and how this idea started. This is so important.
Yeah, it is. And it's such a cool way to go about this too, Allison. So inside the library, there's a special collections division. So you can search through local history, genealogy, the Civil War, and more. But organizers tell me there's a huge hole when it comes to African Americans and their contributions to the city of Alexandria. And they want to change that for future generations.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, each one telling a story.
My great-grandfather had fought in the Civil War, so I did have an original charcoal drawing of him.
A drawing dating all the way back to the 1800s that's been in Jason Wood's family all this time. The Alexandria native says his grandfather was the first black man to drive a car in Alexandria, history that's only been told amongst his family. Until now.
He drove for Mr. Dangerfield, who was the first bank president in Alexandria. Mr. Dangerfield bought a Packard for him to drive because Rolls-Royce did not want a black person driving one of their vehicles.
The Alexandria Library is launching what it's calling the Black Family Reunion.
We have that hole in the collection when it comes to African American history in Alexandria.
And this is the library's way of fixing that. It's encouraging African American families in Alexandria to bring pictures and documents that will be added to the library's local history special collections archive.
The concern that as the older baby boomers are dying off, that their children don't realize the true value of those photographs. The best way to do that and to preserve that and keep that history is to have it in a public library.
So far, the library has collected over 700 photos from residents. Right now, they're scanning those documents, and eventually they'll be available online.
When you look back, you can see the intelligence and the wherewithal and the drive that so many African Americans did have and still do have in order to get us to this place where we are today.
All right, so the actual family reunion event is happening Saturday from 11 to 3 at the Barrett Branch Library in Old Town. There will be food trucks, music, games, everything you would find in your typical family reunion. And Allison, if you donate your documents, the library will put a digital copy on a thumb drive for you. And I just want to mention, too, they're also working with a genealogist who's been doing this for over 40 years. She's an Alexandria native, too, so she's working with the families as well, just collecting information and that kind of thing.
It's so necessary if you don't know where you came from, right? Where are we going? All right.
Exactly.
Randy, thank you.
Awesome, right?
Yeah.
Talk about the importance of this.
Yep, you got it, Steph.
Yeah, Steph, you right. Yeah, and look, we get, when she mentioned the baby boomers, when she mentioned baby boomers, she mentioned me. And it's important, right? Because that baby boomer generation had family reunions, get together, family was important. All those things are important. And as we get older, right? If our kids and our grandkids, if we don't teach them to pick up the torch, right, then we can't move forward, and eventually we will lose, we'll lose our history, So that I thought that was very important to show, and so let's get rolling on this family reunion. Bae, is there a place you want to start?
Wow.
I just started with Sister Sledge is another song. We Are Family. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Any other family songs out there? Reunion songs. Hey, let us know. Pop it in there. Pop in your comments. Hey, and do this for me as well. Right? When was the last time you guys had a family reunion? Because we had a family reunion with the McNairs in Memorial Day this year. We were down in Plymouth, North Carolina. I was born in Plymouth, and we had a family reunion there. How many people were there at that family reunion?
Which one?
In Plymouth.
This is the one we just went to?
No, the Memorial
Day. It looks like it was about 150, maybe 125.
150, 200 people there getting together. And McNairs probably almost do it every year almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so family reunion. When is the last time you had a family reunion?
I have to embarrassingly say I don't remember. My family has been trying to get together to do a family reunion, both my father's side and my mother's side. And I'm ashamed that I'm grateful that I did it for your family, but I'm now pulling it back. My sister has done the Ancestry.com for us. And so she's always going back and looking back. And she's like, I'm only doing it by myself and I need somebody to help me. And, and so I feel like, I've not really given her like all that. Dolores said there was 153 in May. But I feel like, she's always really pushing me. So I've got to sit down and do what I did for your family. I've got to do it for my family, both sides of my family. I don't have as much on my grandfather's side and my grandmother's side but doing family reunions is just getting together. So we're Gaston and Graham strong. You always hear me say that, but I'm also Wallace and Harris strong, right, on my father's side. And so my first cousins have always been siblings to me on both sides of the family. They're Judy and Cindy and Tracy and Kathy and Debbie and Dirk and Wayne and Stevie, like those, Diane and Lynn and Laura, like those are my dad's, siblings, kids, and Robin, and those are his kids, and so we were close. But on my mother's side, we call ourselves the Army, right? And so, the Army was like, we were really close. So, but I look at your family and I'm, really proud of all the things that everybody has done to really get it going. So we'll get started really quickly because I want to kind of move through this quickly. We have a lot. We're going to try to kind of break this down a little bit. So I'm going to show you this picture. On the left-hand side, that's Uncle Freddie and his sisters, right? Aunt Libby, not Pearline, right? And Uncle Freddie's the one that put everything together years ago. We used to go there, and he used to have these lines drawn up and different colors. And he worked his fingers to the bone trying to make this thing happen. And it was 2018, and I saw him, Yes, right, Dee Dee. The Army is strong. Missing Larry Graham, but Uncle Freddie was doing this. So in 2018, right after it was over with, I had taken pictures of everything that he did on that trifold, and I was wondering if anybody had taken a picture of it, because it was there last week. It was there, and I called his daughter Chosette, and she said she didn't have it. She didn't take a picture of it, but I said, Uncle Fred, I want to do something, and I showed it in 2018 to your mom, your mom and Aunt Dolores and Aunt Joyce. I showed them what I had put together, and I said, I'd like to take this to a whole nother level. I'm going to show you what I want to do. And so the first thing that I ever did, I'm going to put it up right now, was this. And people would look at this and say, so your great-great-grandparents were Robert and Mary Puckett Thomas, right? And they had 13 children, right? And in those 13 children, there were 4 boys and 9 girls. And of them, 9 of them had children. And if you look here, every one of these, I think the least amount of children was Mary had 3, but everybody else was working. Boy, they were having those babies, and it just amazed me. And what I did when I took this, when I first started it, I made sure that each one of these families had their own tree, right? And so as you break it down a little bit further, just because I didn't have a lot of information for Mary and Luke, nor Henrietta, but starting off with James Thomas and his wife Clarina, this is their tree, right? And if you go down, Sally and Demas Blunt, and that's your grandmother, your great-grandmother, Sally and your great-grandfather, Demas Blunt, and then Martha and Lewis Hyman and Georgina and Lawrence McNair. It's interesting because you have McNairs on both sides of your family when you think about it. The next set of trees includes Caroline and Early Tootle and Roger Chance. She married early, and then she married Roger. She died, and she still died relatively young, yet she had all these children. And if she could see the legacy that she left, it's amazing. Both she and, as you look down at the bottom, Robert Thomas, who is the son of your great grandparents, he had a lot of children and a lot of offspring as well. And so when you think about it, when I did the spreadsheet the other day, I broke it down, and if you look down on the bottom right-hand corner, that's how many names were on the list. 1,684 names were on the list when I did this your family tree. And while I was there, people were putting names up on the spreadsheets and started growing it and growing it and growing it. And it was absolutely amazing what they did. It was just really a powerful experience. And people don't really understand, like, I didn't put in-laws on here except for like in the people that were heading the trees, because you wouldn't have had any space. Like, you wouldn't have any space, but two people brought forth 1,684 lives. Like, that blew my mind, when I did it. And so what I tried to do was make sure that each family had its own set of trees. And because I always say that your family did not have a family tree. The thing is, I've always said your family has a forest. Yeah. So it was important for me to make the trees look like a forest, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what I did. You know, and Dee Dee said Dr. Lewis Gates would be proud of you. Dee Dee, you're going to have to explain who Dr. Lewis Gates is because I'm clueless. So you're going to have to work with me on that and give me some information. But as I've gone down here with the family, just to kind of give you an example, this is, hold on, let me go back a little bit because I got to put everybody in a little bit of order here. When you looked at family tree, so Henrietta's family tree, I didn't have much information, but so I just kind of gave her a tree that had each of her children, but it didn't have any, what do you call it, on it. It didn't have any names on it or children or grandchildren because we didn't have the list, right? But when you go down to family tree of Robert Thomas, you could begin to see. So the black was the grandchildren of your great grandparents, Sadie, Estelle, and then in the next level was it keeps going in each generation, and every tree has the same color so that we can match it. We go to the tree of Martha and Lewis Hyman. You know, we have that. I think there's some. I'm gonna have to kind of go around and do some of these things because I think some of them are missing the other people to it because of how many people that I have. But it kind of gives you the idea of what the trees look like. You know, Sally and Demas Blunt, they had different colors as well. Right? Caroline and Early Tudu, they had different colors as well.
We go back one slide.
Which one?
Go back to one more. Okay. See, so I'm looking right here because I saw
your grandmother.
My name.
Your name is on there.
Lowe's Jr. and my kids and grandkids, and then there's my brother Doug, his kids and his grandkids, and there's my brother Curtis and his kids and his grandkids, my sister Tracy, her kids and her grandkids. I mean, you could just, Tamika, right? And you seeing all, when you look, you seeing how that thing is unfolding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Alvert, if you look on Alvert, needed 2 sheets. If you look at hers, goes straight across. She's got it so many. We had to bring her all the way across, right? Because she had that many people in her family. When each one of these had just so many people and so many different colors, and it was just so, it's just so powerful, to see, all the things and all the people that, that came forth in this. So I'm still, you still got people that are sending me messages today, like, sending me messages like, hey, we got this people, and did you forget this one? So I think, there were so many people standing by the trees last time that, people understood the power of the tree, right? They understood the power of the tree and the root of the tree, right? The root of the tree made it really, it was really important. It was just really a powerful experience. And, I'm just grateful that Uncle Freddie trusted in me enough to allow me to take this to another level for your family. And so, if you look here, each family has their own calculation of how many children they had, and so that kind of like was powerful in and of itself. When you start to look at all the people and how many children and how many grandchildren they had, it was a powerful experience. So, I want to tell everybody, really take the time and pay attention to how many children and how many people are in your family and love on them. I think that was really important for us to know who each and every person is and get there and get to know people. So I was grateful. I think it was, I looked up here, and Caroline, she had like 156 great grandchildren. Like, I'm looking at Ma, Ma got like 19, and 156 is like a lot of kids. After a while, you just like, yeah, that's one of them. Like, that's just one of them. It was like, wow, it's just crazy. So, it is a lot of work, Stefan. I mean, it started in 2018. We thought we were going to have a family reunion in 2020, and the pandemic came, and then 2022 it was still there, and so by the time 2024 came, we were really rolling. I mean, your family knows how to grow. I tell you, it knows how to grow. So that was kind of like an idea of kind of some of the things that were done. The team with Sonia James and Tracy James and Harry White and Camilla and Demetria, we really, started getting together and working, as a team. And I was kind of nervous. Like, I'm like, y'all want me? Like, y'all want me on the team? But I took the job seriously, and I had two roles: the tree and the kids. Right? And so I wanted to make sure that the kids had something to do. How many times you send your kids to a family reunion and they're bored out of their mind, and they don't even want to come back to the family reunion because they just sat there, and the adults had a good time laughing and joking about all the things they did, and the kids looking around like, I don't know those stories.
Yeah, but it was nice because you guys did a great job. You had the bubble machines.
Oh yeah.
Well, first of all, I got to go back to
Friday night.
Yeah. And in the park, right? Did a wonderful job on Friday night at the park. And you had the giant bounce houses, bouncy houses. People were doing the cornhole toss.
They was getting real on that cornhole.
Yeah, they was getting real on it. And I mean, people were just enjoying themselves, and I like it. I even was proactive and going around introducing myself and saying hello to people and different things like that. They had the giant food truck out there. They're going out to Lurs, they're going to trees, and the grandkids. Yeah, just introducing the kids walking around, man, kids playing together. And I kept saying to Dakota and Hartley the whole time, I said, like, these are your cousins. This is your family.
He was like, all of them?
Yeah. He was like, what? Oh, my God. Like, yeah. And then the next day when we got to the gym, we were like, oh, man, this is your family. These are your cousin. I mean, they would start holding hands with little kids, and every one of them were their cousins. Mm-hmm. They was walking around with each other, holding hands, hugging each other. I mean, it was just... It was awesome. I got a chance to talk to some of the young guys on their way to college and stuff like that, and some of them playing football. Man, it was just great. I mean, and
the weather held up, because remember how you said we were driving to Plymouth from Greenville, and the sheet of rain dropped on us. It didn't rain one drop of rain when we were in Plymouth.
No, it wasn't.
The clouds came over, went overhead, and
a nice little breeze came.
Breezy.
Yeah, it was very nice. I mean, the Lord just blessed us.
And I didn't see no biting flies until we got in the car.
Yeah. and then on Saturday, man, we got to the gym early, and we were thinking, like, man, we went in that gym. It was freezing. It was freezing in the gym. It was set up beautifully. With my two brothers right there, Doug and Kurt. It was amazing. And if you're out there and your family, y'all took some pictures. Man. We'd love to, get some more pictures and stuff like that. And you see his face painting. The kids are painting on the papers on the floor over there. I mean, look at that. They're all down there. It was something for everybody. Then they had a professional bingo game for the adults, man. Even some of the teenagers was in it. They had their little cards and stuff like that, man. I had absolutely a great time. Everybody getting engaged and getting involved. right? And it was just it was a good time. The gym was packed. Go back a shot there. See her in the background of that picture, that all the way the whole back wall. Trees had printed out those things we just finished showing you. Those forests, or trees and forests. You see, they're all on the back wall. I was amazed at how many people were standing there staring at that wall all day long. People were staring at the wall, and at the very end, they was like, "Hey, could I take that home with me?" I seen people, and I was like, man, seeing people take stuff off the wall and they rolling it up, and I'm like, Trees, they taking stuff off the wall, like that. And I told them they could take them because they're gonna change, man. They're gonna grow. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So no, it was a great time, man. I could say that, Anybody answer any questions about the last time they had a family reunion?
Dee Dee, I would love Dee Dee to talk a little bit more, and I know she's not on with us, but she brought up Dr. Henry Louis Gates. He's a Harvard professor, and he's the host of Finding Your Roots. And so I would definitely like to look him up at some point, and start working on understanding your roots. It's really powerful, to be able to recognize your roots, and because like you said, it's your history. Sometimes there's medical things that come as a result of your history.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, but I absolutely had a good time. I was exhausted. I mean, I didn't do what you were doing, and the whole time we were driving, the whole time we were sitting in wherever we were sitting, or sitting in the bed, she was still working all the way up to the day of the weekend of the reunion. She was working on those things. People were still sending names and stuff like that, and then people who probably missed it and heard about it probably said, man, I should have been there. And then there are people who came, and I think when they saw the stuff on the wall, right? I think I'm freezing here. I'm good over there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and they were like, she gave out these little tabs and said, look, if your name is spelled wrong, which it wasn't many people's names spelled wrong, but if you know somebody's name that should be up there, and people start sticking those tabs on, man, it was powerful.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. Well, I think you just asked the question about whether or not people are involved in doing things with their family, but I think it's important that we all do that. I think it's important that we all, figure out how to love on our families, how to be there for our families, how to support our families. Okay, you're gonna turn it around and make some noise.
Well, for some reason over here, yeah. And now I'm over here with Treese now. I need to figure it out.
That's all right. Just keep talking. We got it. We'll make it work.
No.
Okay.
I'm good. No, just okay. Well, now we sharing laptops. And
Dolores said she had an awesome time. It was good to see her family that she hadn't seen in years. And you know what? Again, the pandemic did that.
Yeah.
The pandemic did that. The pandemic made it difficult for people to see each other and spend time. Dee Dee said she's sure that I'm going to find a Moore or a McNair that's related to her husband. Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely. No question about it. Dee Dee's husband's family is from Wagram, but she's got some Blunts and McNairs. He's got some Blunts and McNairs in his family.
Wow. Hey, you never know, man.
A lot of your family moved to New York, to Mount Vernon. Like, Mount Vernon became a little Plymouth.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, everybody came here.
Wow. Well, you know what I really like is to really look at how your family has really stepped up and come together and done some great things. Oh, I wanted to read something, and while I'm reading it, I'm going to tell you to log off and log on over there while I read over here, because I saw this in the Thomas family chat, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up, because it was just something that was there, that was a read about the family, and it was a family history. So got that off over there and start over again, and I'm going to read this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, while you're relogging on over there. It says Robert Thomas was born. Hold on, let me see. Here it is. It said Robert Thomas was born in 1859 in Weldon, North Carolina. Robert's parents were slaves. Papa, as he was called, moved to Plymouth, North Carolina and became a sharecropper. Robert passed away at the age of 74 on May 9, 1933 from pneumonia, and was buried at Deep Bottom, now known as Second Zion Grove Missionary Baptist Church. Mary Puckett was born in 1886 in Plymouth, North Carolina. Mary's parents were Elizabeth and Junius Puckett. From this union, 6 children were conceived: Prince, Joseph, Dinah, Eliza, and Benjamin. William Halsey, grandson, due to the passing of his father, James Halsey. Robert Thomas and Mary Puckett lived on Mackey's Road, where they raised 13 children, 9 girls and 4 boys: Caroline, Mary, James, Henrietta, Sally, Georgiana, Ernest, Estella, Louis, Robert, and Rebecca, Martha, and Naomi. Mary Puckett passed away at the age of 69 on May 26, 1935 from appendicitis. Are you logging back on?
Mm-hmm.
Caroline Thomas married Early Tootle. To this union, 4 children were born: Mary, Robert, Lorenza, and Hattie. Early passed away, and Caroline then married Roger Chance. To this union, 4 children were born: Rebecca, Martha, Roger, and Boucher. Caroline passed away at the age of 35. Let me just say, she had 9 kids before she was 35, right? And so she passed away during childbirth after 9 kids. Poor baby. Caroline's daughter Martha was raised by her sister Martha, whom she named after and whom she was named after and called Little Martha. Mary Thomas married Luke Fawkes. To this union, 3 children were born. Mary moved from Plymouth, North Carolina, and passed away. James Thomas married Clarina, and to this union, 10 children were born. Yo, they definitely didn't have no TVs in there. Jesus. I mean, they did not have no TVs, and if they did, they didn't have no cable. Henrietta Thomas married George Brooks. To this union, 8 children were born. Henrietta later married Vane Brown and moved to New Jersey. Sally Thomas married Demas Blunt. That's your great grandmother. To this union, 10 children were born. Sally served as a mother at Deep Bottom, now known as Second Zion Grove Missionary Baptist Church. Sally passed away at the age of 87. Georgiana Thomas married Louis McNair. To this union, 6 children were born. Georgiana passed away at the age of 37 during childbirth. Ernest Thomas married Mary Hyman. To this union, 4 children were born. Ernest was in the military. The elder family members say he was known to be a fighter. Ernest. Hold on. Ernest was in the military. The elder family members say he was known to be a fighter. Ernest moved to New Jersey, where he passed away. Louis Thomas married Patty Wilkins, and they had no children. Robert Thomas married Allie Brown. To this union, 13 children were born. Robert was a great farmer. Family members recalled Robert bragging about his love of growing watermelons and sweet potatoes. Ooh, those are 2 things I love. Man, Uncle Robert would have been right up my alley. He would often say, "My sweet potatoes were oh so sweet, and you could get syrup out of them. My potatoes were so big you could hollow out the middle and use it for a garage." He was lots of fun. He passed away at the age of 97. Rebecca Thomas married Ben Rhodes. They had no children but raised Calvin Hyman. Didi was close. Calvin Hyman and a host of family members. Rebecca passed away at the age of 89. Martha Thomas married Louis Hyman. To this union, 9 children were born. Martha died at the age of 35 during childbirth. That's the second sibling that happened to at the same age. Naomi Thomas died at an early age and no other information could be obtained. Our first family Thomas reunion was organized by Ernest Thomas' son-in-law, Mr. William Davis. Our family will forever be grateful for his love. The love of our family grows strong and deep, leaving special moments to treasure and to keep. Even though families are like branches on a tree, we grow in different directions. Our roots remain as one. The Thomas Family Committee would like to thank all of you for attending and hope you enjoyed your weekend full of love and joy. That's really nice. That is really nice. I mean, it's good to be able to have that level of detail, and that's what you saw in the pictures. And so I'm grateful. You know, I hope your family had a good time. To all the Thomas family, that I hope you're seeing this video. I hope this is going to show up on our Thomas family family chat. You guys take a look at it. Please, again, send to me anybody that's outstanding that you need some more pictures of, more listing of for your family. You can send it to me in our Thomas family chat. Reach out to me and I will make all the changes, because when we get back in 2026, I want it to be even tighter than it was in 2024. So God bless you, and I thank you for all that opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah. That was awesome. and real quick, because, part of the conversation at the reunion, everybody's like, oh, who did this? And, of course, they were saying, Treese was doing it. And all of a sudden, people started saying, like, hey, can I give you a call and, talk to you about my family reunion? So I want to show you this quick video real quick about, like, if you want to know how to put together a family reunion, here's 10 steps on putting together a family reunion, right? So we check out this video. It's real short, right? But you got to pay attention to it, because it's not going to talk, right? You probably hear some music, but you got to pay attention to it. Look at the steps.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of those things were done because we definitely had a committee. We definitely had some delegating and different things like that, and so it was really good all the way around. So everything's not going to always be perfect. When you have so many people you're trying to feed, you're trying to take care of, there's always going to be somebody that has something. Well, this didn't happen right. That didn't happen right. And all I can say to all of you who had something to say that you thought it should be done differently, please join the committee, and you are welcome to have any changes that you think would be best, because sometimes we have opinions, but we don't want to work. So I think it's important that everybody kind of, they have ideas or thoughts that we could do differently. Bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys seen our last podcast, right, just before we went to the holidays, we did the Mount Vernon reunion, right? And our Mount Vernon reunion has been traveling. It started out in Atlanta back a few years ago before the pandemic. Did about 2 or 3 in Atlanta, and then they did one in Mount Vernon. This is our high school. This is Mount Vernon, high school. It encompassed from 1960 all the way up to the 2000s, and the one in Mount Vernon was about 400 people came, and now they just moving all around. So we're in the South next week, I think it is, right?
It's in Charlotte,
North Carolina.
Yeah, next Friday, Saturday,
and Sunday. People are going there. But the two guys, Wally, I would say Wally had been in it since the beginning, and Daryl since the beginning, and a lot of people join in. But man, it's not easy. It's not easy to do a reunion, right? So, look, no matter what you do in life, right? Whether it's a reunion, a barbecue, right? Everything takes work, right? It's impossible to do something and you don't have to work at it, right? If you want it to be good, right, and you want to minimize what people say about, well, you could have did it this way, you could have did it that way. If you want it to minimize it, it's in the planning, right? And the more you plan, and the more people get involved, man, many hands make light work, right? We gotta learn to work as ants. Ants work together.
Yeah, we had to cook out today at church, and that's exactly what happened. Like, people work together to set up. When we were trying to put the tables down, I would try to put a table down. They'd be like, "Put that table down. I got the table," But everybody kind of worked together to make it happen. And so, yeah, it's really important that we do that. Dee Dee said something here, and I'm going to read it. She said, "Find out who the griot is in your family. They are the storytellers. This is where you start to gather family information. Get those stories from your elders, because one day you will be the griot of your family sooner than you think." Wow, that was powerful. When in our family, we have, and she's actually kind of like a me in a sense. She is not the biological aunt. She is my great uncle's wife, but she knows everything. We can call. She just turned 90. Well, she said I'm 90 minus 1. She said, I don't know what these people keep telling me I'm 90 years old. I'm 90 minus 1. So I said, okay, 90 minus 1, Aunt Ann. But you can ask her just about anything in the family, and it's almost like you need to sit under her and just take a notepad and just get information from her, because she knows everything about our family. I think she started dating my uncle when she was a teenager. So she knows like everything about the family.
Well, yeah, it's interesting too, because my on my father's side, my Aunt Penny was the person doing the reunions on that side, getting everybody together, doing the history and stuff like that. Now she's gotten older, and I don't know if anybody's snatched that information from her, because she was building, just like you were building, she was building too.
You had a cousin. She was down at Penny's celebration, and she was gathering a lot of information on the family. I don't remember her name, but she was gathering a lot of information. She was on the podcast for a while too, just looking in for the podcast. So, we're just grateful.
Yeah. We was just excited. We just thought, like, the pandemic, right? It could have put you in a place where you stuck, right? And he's like, oh man, the pandemic took so much energy out of me, right? I don't feel like doing anything, man. I just don't want to do anything, right? Or you could get a reset. You said, like, man, I really miss, doing this. And I have to say, man, that, man, people are out everywhere. I mean, I'm saying it was cookouts. People, we were at a cookout yesterday, right? People are out everywhere. They are enjoying life, and they're enjoying their families. And it's hot, right? Take the precautions, get particularly plenty of water. Make sure you put sunscreen on. But you don't have to stay in. Get out, get with your family, man. Go to the amusement park. Look, we got a little wave pool right over here where we live at, right? And it's hot inside, so many people was in. They were just standing in the wave pool, man, because it was hot. Standing in the water, right? And you know, people are getting out. They not staying in. They getting out and they're enjoying themselves and they're taking all the safety precautions.
Can we talk? Can we digress a little bit and talk about this weekend? What's happening this weekend coming up?
Yeah, I don't even. You got a flyer for it?
I thought I saw you put something up in here, so let's see if I can find it. I thought you hosted, but this weekend in Nanuet, we are going to be part of a what do you call it? A
Marriage retreat.
Marriage retreat.
I don't think I put it in there, but
it's a fresh it's the fresh experience. We're gonna be part of the fresh experience with the Fresh Start Church, Fresh Start Christian Church, and our children are hosting Michelle and Dakari, and it's gonna be really nice. So we get a chance to talk about fresh love, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is?
Fresh to death.
Fresh to death.
Now, put that back up there again. That little flyer back up there. Yeah, Fresh Start, the Fresh Love Experience. I mean, it's a marriage retreat. We are one of the. We're hosting Fresh to Death. I'm still trying to figure out what that is, but
well, no. So it says till death do us part.
Yeah, I got that the other day. I was like writing some stuff down I got to share with you. You know, okay, I understand fresh, you know, and then I was like, and then I realized that in our vows, right, it says to death do us part.
Yes.
Right, and so we want to keep, I guess, no, I'm not guessing. We will be talking about how to keep marriage fresh, regardless of how long you're in the marriage.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, because it is challenging. I mean, anybody that's been married for a little while now, coming up with new ideas, coming up with new to be creative, to be spontaneous. Ooh. Right? I mean, I think it's important too, man, that it's one of the things when couples stay active.
Yeah, yep.
You know, like going to the movies, going away, going on trips, getting in the car, you know, going on walks. I mean, all those things are important.
Oh yeah, and that's really important to be examples, because what we want to do is also be examples. You know, when you talk about family reunions, you want to look at what's longevity, what does that look like for marriages. We want to set an example for our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, that they could look and say, my grandparents were married 40 years, they were married 50 years, 60 years, whatever the case may be. And so we want to be that example and that light for them. And so I'm grateful that we are. But like you said, creativity, spontaneity,
and that you could have fun,
Like, you know, we always talk about some of the things that we did for fun, like some things, you know. But like one of my greatest ever things that I've ever did. Lowe's is a gift giver. Like Lowe's. He's going to be spontaneous. He's a gift giver. When you talk about the 5 love languages, I have words of affection. So I'm the type of person that goes, "Oh, baby, you look so good. You're so sweet. Oh, you did." You know, I talk that game, but he always gives little trinkets and gifts, right? So one year I said, I'm going to get him. I don't know how I'm going to get him, but I'm going to get him. It was June 2013, and I said, I'm going to get him tickets to Motown for our anniversary for our first date. And so I said, I'm going to get him these tickets. And I know he loves Motown. He loves Motown. Like anything Motown, he's all in, right? So I said, I'm going to get him these tickets. But I wanted to surprise him. So I called a friend of mine who does printing, and I made him print up an invitation for me to go down to the Marriott Marquis to meet with the governor and the mayor of New York City for a big meeting. Well, that wasn't really that unrealistic for him because I had been participating in certain things, with the governor's office. I'd been participating in some things in New York. So he figured, oh, this is really nice. So I told his boss too. I said, listen, I told him, I said, listen, he's going to be going with me. So just in case, I just want you to be all in. So I had everybody all in. And so I printed the tickets, and I got a room at the Marriott Marquis down in New York City, and we go down, and I even told my kids got in it, and we went to the Birdland for dinner, the jazz club for Birdland, and got front row seats for the Birdland. And when I got ready to pay the bill, my daughter Sherelle had paid it for us and said, "Here's for you guys." And then it was such a nice night, and we go back to the room because I'd torn my stockings and I didn't want to go downstairs. It's like that, so I changed my stockings and I hand him the invitation for us to go downstairs at the Marriott Marquis for the meeting with the governor's office. And inside, I said, could you look inside? There's some tickets in there for the table where we're sitting at. And when he looked in, the tickets, they were the Motown tickets. And he's looking at me like, what is that? Like, this confusing. And I went, gotcha. And inside the tickets were the Motown tickets, and inside the envelope were the Motown tickets.
Yeah, of course there was no meeting the governor.
There was no meeting the governor.
There was no dinner.
He was so disappointed there was no meeting the governor.
No,
until we went into the theater. And he had front row seats for the Motown. I got in front row tickets, and even when during the one of the songs they lead, he reached down to him, and I said, "Lord, this man is going crazy right now." So you know what? Be creative, be outside the box in your thinking, and we really have enjoyed doing those things. So we're looking for a fresh love, a fresh experience coming up on this Friday, Saturday, and it's going to be in Nanuet. So I want to shout out Michelle and Dakari. That's our children, my daughter, our daughter, and our son-in-law, as they just celebrated their 5th wedding anniversary on July 5th.
That's right.
We would have normally put that picture up, but on July 5th they celebrated their 5th wedding anniversary. I'm so proud of them.
And here's the thing too, is that we've done some very elaborate surprises, right? But yet we've done some very, because everybody thinks like, oh man, I don't have the money to do that. They just brag and showing off. Not really. We just, we had the capacity to be able to do it. But then there have been times when we didn't have the capacity to do it, and so we had to be creative, like I think it was our 13th wedding anniversary. And I mean, I got up in the morning and I'm like, I get to work and there's a card on my desk. My wife had oh, there's a card. So I read the card, happy anniversary, happy 13th anniversary, so love you. And then everywhere I went, there was a card. Right? And I was like, people were handing me cards, up to 13 cards. I said, oh my God, what in the world? I got 13 anniversary cards.
That's right.
So I was like, one of our favorite places, she just mentioned it before we went to Motown, we went to Birdland, right? And so Birdland was in a different place. It was now in the city and it was in a different place. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to take her to Birdland, right? And gifts and cards don't have to be expensive. You just need to be creative. So when we got to Birdland, we had our dinner and things like that, and I gave her my gift for her. And they were inexpensive, but they were nonetheless they were special.
13 gifts, y'all.
13 gifts.
Gave me 13 gifts. And when I walked in the house, there was on the steps, and everywhere. And based on the show, I'm not gonna tell you all of it, but it was really creative, and it was just one of those things that was special. My first card actually said, people say 13 is a lucky number, but they didn't marry you. I feel I'm very lucky that I married you. There's 13 cards. find them. And it was worked out because Lena worked for him at the time, and Lena's Michelle's godmother, right? So Lena was the one that hid the cards all over his job. So he had to find the cards before he got home, and he was working hard to find those cards. So you know what? Sometimes you just gotta really look and do something. It doesn't cost you a lot. I mean, he used to draw me pictures of Mickey and Minnie or Daffy and Daisy Duck. And he would send me cards, like, you know, just talking about how much he loved me. Like, there's certain things that you can do. So, you know what? 40 years fresh to death. We want to make sure that until death do us part, that we keep this thing fresh. So, you know, again, that'll be next Friday, Saturday at, I believe it's definitely in Nanuet.
Nanuet, New York.
So we're looking forward to having that experience with our kids. You know, and being an example of a strong marriage, and just, you know, the good part about it is we're friends, and what's good about it is because we're friends, you know, I absolutely, like, he knows that I absolutely adore his family, like I love his family, so I have no problem doing the things that I do with and for his family because I love them. You know, I love them all very much, and I, as you love mine, I can speak that because I know how.
Yeah,
you are.
we've been together long enough to see her cousins have children, see them as babies, right? And I'm messing with them, playing with them, and then now they grown and have their own kids, right? And I enjoy them as well. Here's a funny thing, though. One time, I got to tell this. We were on our way. I don't know if we were on our way to the reunion or leaving the reunion, right? But anyway, we were driving in the car. So the whole time we have our grandkids. We have Dakota and Hartley. And let me say this. We had them in Charlotte for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Right. And then we left Charlotte after going to Carowinds Amusement Park, you know, and pools, water parks, everything. I was like, and you know, they just relentless. They don't want to stop. Right. But, you know, it was wonderful. The days were amazing. Amazing days. But at night, I needed all last week to recover, right? And they would, even though they would have other places to sleep, they always ended up in the bed with us. And so we end up leaning, almost falling off the bed because they're in between, kicking, feet are everywhere, right? And but here's the crazy part. They went, no matter whether they're outside or inside, right? They always have their outside voice on.
Ooh.
I mean, they talk so loud, right? I'd be like, Hartley, Dakota, inside voice. So you go on a whole week, you're like, come on, give me your inside voice. So I'm driving the car, I'm driving along, and I wanted to show Dakota what a inside and outside voice is, right? So I'm driving along, and I said, Dakota, this is an outside voice, and at the same time, she's turning towards me as I'm about to perform the outside voice. I don't think she heard it, what I was saying to them, but I turned around and I yelled, Dakota, like that, and and she's turning at the same time. I scared the crap out of her. I mean, I think the kids was in shock. Man, we were both laughing, right? And Dakota was like, Pop, like that. And I said, yeah, that's an outside voice, right? Now, this is an inside voice, like that. Hey, Dakota, that's an inside voice. He said, what you say, Papa? He didn't get it, man. He didn't get it. Hartley didn't get it all week. They was on outside voice all the time. But anyway, man, we had a great time. As you can tell, we had a great time with our grandkids. We had a great time with with Lainey yesterday.
At the Centennial Cookout.
At the Centennial Cookout.
Playland. She went to Playland for the first time. Yeah.
Yep. And then check this out. Before we left here to go on our trip, right? I had like two adopted sons from when I played in Albany, New York. I became mentors and a father to two amazing young men, Jamal Johnson and Omar Ford. And before we left, Jamal came up for a week or more, and he brought the girls up. Amaya's 11.
Yeah, should be 12.
Amaya's 11, and Mooney
It's 2.
is 2. And they were up, so I had all 5 of them. We had all 5 of them here before we left. We had Lainey 1, Hartley and Mooney 2, Dakota 4, and Amaya 11. We had all of them. The house was just electric.
It was all outside.
Yeah,
voice.
all outside voices, all day and all night. They wake up, Pop, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh Lord. But we had a great time. And then when we went to North Carolina, Omar was there. He came up to visit us. I mean, his kids are grown. They're in college. One's on their way to college, and I think he got another one. I tell you, we love it. We love family. We love visiting family. We love family reunions. Look, yeah,
and hopefully before the summer is out, there will be some type of reunion that the Gaston Graham family will have, and hopefully I can get the Wallace family together for some type. We did have one last year for Uncle Ernie's birthday, though. Uncle Ernie's birthday was like a family reunion for everybody, for the Wallace family, because he had turned 90 years old. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I hadn't seen a lot of your cousins in a long time, man. You know, so yeah.
Well, that's good. So I think we're pretty much closing out for now.
Yeah, we are closing out, and I look forward to.
I want to shout somebody out really quickly. Michael Joshua Middleton won the gold medal in the NAACP Awards in Las Vegas this weekend for modern dancing. He won the top prize representing Westchester County NAACP. He is the most gifted and talented young dancer.
He is gifted.
And he is just amazing. And so I want to shout him out. Maybe next week I can pull something. I think I took a video of him dancing out at in Pelham a couple of weeks back.
That was Juneteenth.
He danced. But he is so talented. And so he won the most outstanding modern dancer for the NAACP. So I'm proud of you, Michael Joshua Middleton.
Yeah, and I want to say this. I'm looking forward to coming up, right? I'm looking forward to having some guests on. I talked to a good friend of mine, Jeff Dixon, right? He's going to be at the Mount Vernon reunion in Charlotte, North Carolina. He is the manager, right? And he is a manager, producer, all those big things for Ludacris.
Okay.
Right. If many of you didn't know, I knew Ludacris' father, Wayne Bridges. Right. He was a member of the Boys and Girls Club. He was an older gentleman that we looked up to, and Ludacris lived in Mount Vernon for a little while before he moved to Atlanta. But Jeff and Greg Rogers became a management partner, and they managed Ludacris. I'm going to have Jeff on as my guest. We're just trying to work out the schedule, and I'm gonna have the amazing Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers is gonna be on.
He just got a big $150 million
Yeah,
contract.
He's gonna be on. His dad was a former. He was on the podcast at one time talking about baseball because he was a professional baseball player. Right, he was on the podcast, and his son is now a NBA player, a great NBA player in the NBA, and he's going to be home soon, and we're going to pre-record it, or we're going to get him in here. We're going to get him live and get him on the podcast. But look forward to us having these two guests on and many others. Again, I want to say thank you.
Let's just shout out Uncle Ernie and Aunt Roz. Just celebrated 68 years of marriage.
Yeah.
They are the goats of marriage.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are the goats.
68 years.
68 years. I mean, wow. But listen, and Uncle Ernie and Aunt Roz, they got it going on. You'd think that they in their 70s because they look so good.
Yeah.
And they're holding it together. So shout out to my Uncle Dad, my Aunt Roz. Uncle Ernie is my dad's big brother. And listen, when my parents were both sick and dying, Uncle Ernie and Aunt Roz showed up every single day.
Yeah, they awesome, man.
Every single day.
Yeah, that's my man right there. I've been promising him, man, I'm going to do it this year.
You better go sit with him and watch the basketball.
Yeah, we're going to watch the Knicks play this year. You know, on that nice new television he got over there. I'm going to go over there and check him out. And again, I want to say thank you guys, man. I appreciate you for your support each and every week of the Blueprint Podcast. I love you guys, man. God bless you. And as I say each and every week, if the Lord allow you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.
God bless.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.